Welcome to Four Pros Podcast, where we are cultivating culture in the world of basketball. Today, I'm bringing an interview that I did with one of my old college teammates, Nigel Johnson. I met Nigel Johnson when he was at Kansas State as a freshman, and I was a senior. And obviously, me being older and him being younger, we, kind of didn't start off on the right foot. But at the end of the day, I still considered him my brother. I still kept in touch with him throughout his college career for the most part, and for sure during his overseas career. He's a great guy, a tremendous man. He's a great father, and there are some key things that I hope that you could take away from his story. Very, very insightful and impactful. Um, Also, unfortunately, me and my wife are new with this software. So, for those of you that are watching on YouTube, our video is sideways. We tried to fix it, but unfortunately, we were not able to. Again, this is a new software for me and my family. This is new. We don't have a production team or anything like that, so we're still just trying to get things done on our end the right way. So I apologize. The next interview I did isn't like that, and you don't have to worry about it. We got it taken care of. But for this one, unfortunately, for those of you that are watching on YouTube, it's off. And so I hope that you can just be a little bit patient with us in that situation. Just get through this interview, and we appreciate it. But without further ado, let's go ahead and tap in to Nigel Johnson's story. What's up, Nigel? How you doing, man?
Doing good, man. Can't complain.
Hey, I just want to say, first of all, it's amazing to have you on my podcast talking about your story, man. We know it's a journey full of ups and downs, and I know a lot of people, want to hear this. So I'm happy to have you here, man. Thank you for taking the time to being here with me.
Yeah, no doubt. Happy to be here.
Better. So let's go ahead and get right into it, man. Where in this world has basketball taken
Man, basketball it's taking me everywhere, literally all around the world. I mean, basketball has given me the opportunity to get major degrees from multiple different universities, attend multiple different huge universities, and like I said, take me around the world and be able to do what I love in multiple countries. So I mean, I would say it's done a lot for me.
you? Yeah. So going back to the beginning, when I feel like your basketball professional career starts in, it starts in college, I'd say. So,
For sure. Yeah.
where we met, Kansas State, you want to talk about that a little bit, just about that experience, who recruited you, how did you like the
Yeah.
campus and, just talk about it.
Yeah, so yeah, we met obviously at K State. I got there my freshman year. You was a junior, right? Yeah, you was a
Yeah.
junior, so we played
Yeah.
together for the 2 years I was there. Finished out with your senior year, and so how I got there was Coach Frazier, my guy, Chester Frazier. He recruited me. You know, he's from the not from Virginia, but we in the same little area. He from Maryland, Baltimore, so he about like a
Hmm.
little more than an hour away from me. So he was, I guess, kind of familiar with my game, with my name, and then he reached out to me 2013, 2012, 13, somewhere in there, and took off
Yeah.
from there. I ended up taking a visit to K State, committed. I don't remember if I committed on the visit or before the visit,
Who was your
but
host that year? Who was your host?
my host
I don't think I
was
hosted
nah, it wasn't you. It was it might have been Shane
Shane.
Southwell. It might have been,
Yeah, yeah, I can see
it
that.
might have been him. But funny story, I ended up crazy. I ended up, if you remember, I broke my foot on my visit at K State.
You
But
did, because we were hooping, right?
yeah, we was hooping. B-roll messed me up. He stepped on my foot, did something, broke my foot on the visit. But yeah, I ended up
Brian
coming
Rowland,
there.
walk on
Brian
legend.
Roletter, one of the hardest playing teammates I've ever had,
Facts,
for
facts,
sure.
facts. Dang, I forgot that you broke your foot like that, man.
On the
That
visit.
was crazy. See, but that goes. Shout out to Coach Frazier too, man, because even after all that, he still rocked with you. He still showed you
No, for
love.
sure. Yeah, I had a late entrance into the preseason because I was still healing. So I kind
Yeah.
of had a little late start. But yeah, once the ball got rolling, it was all good.
Yeah, you had a couple great games, man. I mean, obviously, with that whole situation with the new staff, for me, a new staff and bringing new guys in and trying to get acclimated, you definitely stood out as one of the better players, but just waiting on that opportunity, right? Like
Yeah,
you're a
definitely.
freshman, sophomore, so it was hard. So mentally, how do you feel like you tackled that, like being a freshman going into a college and not necessarily playing that much? Like, how do you feel like your mental was then?
Um, I would say as a freshman, it was tough because you
And I
go
was
from
about to say you
being
better not lie either, because you know I know.
no, yeah, I already know.
No, I'm
But
just
no,
messing with
it
you.
was it could be tough as a freshman, especially playing at the high major levels that we was playing at, because it's grown men at that level, and it's like coming in as a young 18-year-old freshman, you used to having the green light, being a man everywhere you go, and then it's like you come in into you're not playing with kids no more, like you playing with grown men, and it's kind of like college is the first place where like basketball becomes like almost like a job. Like you know what I'm saying? It's serious. It's millions and millions of dollars worth of revenue in the college, sports world. So it's kind of taking. It's you pretty much a pro at that point. So sometimes you got to wait your turn. You're not gonna always be able to walk in and just have the same role that you used to having in high school. And so yeah, I had to get with that. Especially let my body heal from the broken foot, and then I caught mono right after that. I got cleared, caught mono. I was out again for another month preseason.
Yeah,
But then yeah, no, it was definitely, a learning experience and molds you for sure. It turns you into a man quick. And
yeah, man. I feel like you definitely had like great spurts. I remember, I think you went crazy against KU,
I went
right?
crazy against
You went
KU and then
crazy,
followed it
bro.
up.
And it was like
Yeah,
out of nowhere.
out of
But
nowhere. And then
you waited for your
followed it up that
opportunity.
very next game. Very next game against Iowa State, same thing. Another
Mm-hmm.
home game. Hmm.
Mm-hmm. You went
Two
crazy,
back to
bro.
back. Yeah, yeah, I was wild.
Yeah. So,
That's when I really started to like get comfortable, and I was like, okay, like I can see I'm comfortable now. Like that's all it take. When you get to that level, like it only take one or two explosions for you to be like, all right, I belong. Like this, I can do my thing here.
so then what happened? So then what happened? Like after that, after those two amazing games, like mentally, like what's going on in your mind? Because I mean, obviously at K State, we beat KU that year, right? We
Yeah,
beat
we
KU.
beat KU both years I was there. We went 1-1
Yeah,
both.
and then we won that Iowa State game too, didn't we?
Yep.
Yeah, so we know it was popping around the campus. How
Yeah.
how did you handle that? How did you that, because that's your first time, so
Yeah.
how did
So
you feel?
for me, that was like I said, at that point, that was like that gave me the little confidence boost. Like, I mean, I've known my whole life I belong. I knew I was nice, but like I said, it's different once you get to that level. So like once you get there, it's like once you see yourself do it, now like, okay, this is what I'm capable of. And then when I did it then, and like I said, I followed it up back to back with another one. I'm like, now I'm getting in my groove. I'm feeling comfortable. Coach rocking with me a little bit more. Let me have the ball. Let me do my thing. So at
Yeah.
that point, I just felt like, that was just a start, and it was only up from there.
Hmm. Nah, that's what's up, man. That's what's up. Like I said,
Yeah,
those were great times. When you want
definitely.
so what happened? What do you feel like what happened at Rutgers and in Virginia? I know after unfortunately those 2 years you transferred, and
Hmm.
I don't know too much about the transfer portal or anything about that time, but how was that
Yeah.
transition? Talking to different coaches and trying to find your way.
Yeah. So, the first move when I went to Rutgers, that was kind of like a no brainer for me. Once I entered the transfer portal and started, getting hit up and receiving calls from schools and stuff. Once I received the call from Rutgers, that was like it was almost instantly done just because the head coach at Rutgers at the time was Coach Eddie Jordan. I don't know if you remember him. He was the head coach of the Wizards back when Gilbert Arenas was there, Karan Butler.
Mm.
You remember Eddie Jordan?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, so he was the head coach at Rutgers, and a little backstory. A couple years before that, right before I got into college, he was my AAU coach for DC Assault my 17U year.
Oh, okay.
So we had a great relationship. And then once, he got to Rutgers, he hit me up when I was in the transfer portal. At that point, it was over with. It was a no-brainer. I was like, yeah, I'm about to go play for Coach Jordan. So then I got there, and that was a couple years before the new rules started where, nowadays you transfer, you get to play right away. But back then it was you transfer, you got to sit out a year unless you're a grad transfer, which I wasn't yet.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to transfer there. I sat out a year, and that year I sat out, we had a young team. They kind of struggled a little bit, and after that, Coach Jordan got fired. Just what I'm saying, it was crazy,
After
and I was sick about that.
yeah, after 1 year he got fired.
I don't think that was his first year there, but that was my first year there, and
Oh, okay.
I had the red shirt. So the year I came back, that next year when I was able to play, obviously he was no longer there, but I was kind of I was already locked in. I'm already here. I can't really just
Yeah,
So new coach came in, and you know how that can go sometimes. He came in with his own agenda, his own, he wanted to do things his way. And it kind
yeah,
of I had a really good year there, but going forward, I just didn't think that that was going to be the best situation for me. But speaking of the year I had, I was when I after that year I transferred from Rutgers and I was on that list. I was one of the top, can't remember if it was top 5, top 10, something grad transfers in the country.
yeah.
So
You put up
at
crazy
that point,
numbers. What were your numbers?
yeah, at Rutgers, I was the second leading scorer on the team. I don't remember exactly what I was averaging, but it was me and my boy, one of my best friends, Corey Sanders. Me and him was in the backcourt just wilding.
Nice. Shout out to
Um,
Corey.
yeah, that's my guy.
Mm-hmm.
So after that, I ended up going in the transfer portal again, and I finished out that year going crazy. We was Big Ten tournament. We got the first Big Ten tournament win in Rutgers history. We beat Ohio State. I had 21, going
Mm.
crazy. Came back the next day. We played again the next day, Northwestern. That's where we lost, but I had finished it up with another 21 back to back. So
Was
that was the
it a
end of the
Big 12?
season.
Was this in I said Big Ten. I mean Big 12. But was this in the Big Ten tournament or was this during
No, yeah,
like
no, this was the Big Ten tournament
okay? Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
right before the NCAA tournament. So Big Ten tournament, I finished out averaging 21 for the tournament, like 21-6 or something. Put my name back in the portal, and at this point, my thing was I was blowing up. Like I said, I was one of the top grad transfers in the country, so I was getting offers from everywhere: NC State, Miami, uh, Colorado, Virginia,
Mm-hmm.
and it just so happened Virginia. They was one of the top teams in the country, like for a long stretch. And
Yeah,
I had some influence, some family influence. People wanted me to, they was like, man, that's gonna be a hell of a story. You get to, if you go there, you can finish out at your home state school, blah blah blah, this and that. And I ended up going there, and yeah, we had a crazy year there too. We was number one team in the country the whole year. Went 33-2 or something like that. Went 20 and
yeah.
one in the ACC. I think we broke the ACC record. We was like 20 and one in the ACC.
Who was on your
Oh,
team that year? If you don't mind me asking, who was on that team?
oh man, we was stacked. We had me, Ty Jerome, Kyle Guy, Devin Hall, DeAndre Hunter, Isaiah Wilkins, Jack Salt, Mamadi Diakite.
Yeah, good
So
names.
we had like six leaguers in there. Like we
Yeah.
had 5 or 6 NBA players on that team.
And then what? At that time, you knew were they running motion offense by your senior year? Because I know like when they were number one and stuff, Bruce Weber got I wouldn't necessarily he got the motion offense from Virginia, but I know when he was teaching us, we were watching Virginia run the motion offense. So were
Yeah.
you already like acclimated with like the Virginia system in a way?
No, I think that's where it didn't work out for me at Virginia. I don't think it was there was more like some kind of variation of like a Princeton offense. Like it was just real like pass,
Uh,
down screen, cut. Like it was real slow, like not much in transition, just running the offense, take 30 seconds out the shot clock. Like most of the games when I was at Virginia was like scoring in the 50s, low 60s. Like their thing was we don't let other teams score. But like
yeah,
it didn't really match my style, and I think that's where we kind of where it didn't work out. Like I was more of at that point, especially how I just finished out the last season. I'm like just give me the ball, let me rock out. We gonna make it happen.
yeah,
But
yeah,
at Virginia, they got a little system there. It's ran a little differently, so it kind of didn't really just it didn't match up with what I had in mind. So, but I mean, we had
yeah.
it like I said, we had a great year. We was the number one team in the country the whole year. Ended up losing in the first round.
Mm. Who did y'all lose to?
UMBC. We was the first one seed to lose to the 16.
Y'all tripping. Y'all
Man, that
tripping.
mean
But
it was set up like all bad though. Like we found out a couple days before the game, DeAndre Hunter, who was ended up being a number 4 pick for the Hawks, he
mm,
He fractured his wrist in the ACC championship game against North Carolina.
Mm,
And we didn't know it was that bad. We found out like a couple days before the tournament started that, it was a fractured wrist. He was going to be out. So we just had to like scramble with the rotation, figure it out. And then, not to mention, they came out, UMBC came out hitting everything. Like they was,
yeah,
how I get at the tournament sometimes. Like they
I
came out and
was
had
gonna
the
say,
game of their
man,
life. Like,
March Sadness. That's what they call it,
yeah,
baby.
they came out, had the game of their life. And then we ended up making history in the wrong way.
In the wrong way. How much did
In
y'all
the
end up
wrong
losing
way.
by?
Like 20. I think it was like 74-54.
Oh, it was like
Something like
that.
that. No, yeah, they was wild. Like
Dang.
we
So
had a
it,
bad game and they had their best game.
yeah, but I feel like it was more so like a mental thing, right? Y'all just seeing Hunter get hurt.
It
He
could have
is
that definitely had something to do with it
beautiful.
too, yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I see that. I see that, man. So I mean, overall, I feel like you had a I would say that you had a pretty solid career. I mean, some
Yeah, for
unfortunate
sure.
things happen that you can't control. I mean, your high school
Yeah.
coach having, unfortunately, get fired or resigned and had to leave. But I mean, I still
Yeah.
feel like you found your way and you had a pretty successful college career, right?
Yeah, I definitely had a successful college
Yeah.
career. No, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. I mean, it's easy to say, but thinking back on it, I would definitely have done some things differently, made some different decisions. But I mean, hindsight is always 2020. Everybody could say that. But
Yeah. What you feel like you would have done differently?
to keep it 100 with you, I would have put my feelings to the side. I would have stayed at K State.
Yeah.
I would have stayed there. I wouldn't have never left from the jump.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Man, them feelings and them emotions, bro, they get the best of us. They
I'm
get the
telling
best
you,
of us
especially
sometimes.
when you're young and you 19, 20, you're not really matured up here yet. It's you kind of just live and react off of emotion sometimes, not really off of logic. So
How do you feel like your inner circle was? Respectfully, not saying like they put peer pressured you into transferring anything, but just at the time, how do you feel like your inner circle was when it comes to making those decisions?
I feel like there was days where it was both. Like there was days where they was with me on like, man, you should probably get out of there. And there was days where they was like, just sit back on it, think about it. It could turn into this situation. It could be better for you if you stay, blah blah blah. Just think about it. Don't make no rash decision. But like I said, me at that time as a young 19, 20-year-old mind, I feel like my mind was already made like months before the season even ended. So I don't know. It wasn't the best decision, I don't think, but it's a decision I had to live with.
Yeah, it's a decision. I think at the end of the day, whether it's good or bad, that's not for us to say. It was a decision that you
Exactly.
made, and
In the
you just live
moment.
with the results. You know what I'm saying? So.
Exactly.
Nah, I got you, brother. I got you, man. So if you want to transition, go ahead talk into the transition going from Virginia. It seemed like you did G League for a little bit.
Yeah, I finished out G League first year, my rookie year.
You did. How was that experience? If you don't mind talking about that,
The G League was cool. The G League was real cool.
I feel like people have. I hear more negative things than positive when it comes to G League experiences.
So if you want me to really get into that, the G League, I feel like is just like that's one of the most political basketball leagues in the world. Like the G League is, in my opinion, and from what I've seen, what I've been a part of, like if you're not a Exhibit 10 guy or a two-way guy or a NBA guy that's just on assignment with the G League team, like for the most part, you're just gonna be like a roster filler. You're just gonna be somebody on the team. So they got 12 guys. You can go 5-on-5 in practice. Like you're not gonna really get that chance. It don't matter if you killing anybody in practice. If you killing the two-way guys in practice, the Exhibit 10 guys in practice, it don't matter because at the end of the day, that organization has invested money into them. So, and
Mhm.
a lot of it. So they're going to play. I don't care what you're doing in practice, how well you playing when you do get out there, like they're going to get those minutes. So I feel like the G League was just like it's a good way to try your hand and see what might happen, but I just think for the most part, like if you're not one of those guys, like if you didn't get invited to the NBA team's training camp, for the most part, your chances is
Yeah.
it can be slim.
So what about I know you talk about the political side, but what about the working side when it comes to player development? Like I heard, like that's pretty good because these
Yeah,
young player development, skill development guys, like they're eager and they
yeah,
want to
for
work with
sure.
somebody. I heard like they'll latch on to maybe like one or two players, and those are their
Hmm.
guys, and guys that they work with constantly, time in and time out.
Definitely.
So do you feel like you gotten better? I mean, you might not get the playing and an exposure, but do you feel like it was a great stepping stone for you to go overseas with your skill development?
Yeah, for sure. I think it was not only that. I think it was like it's a good transition, like from college to the pros, that like shows you that it's a business now. Like it's just people's
Yeah.
livelihood. Like it shows you that yeah. And I think also it gives you the chance, like we was talking about. It gives you the chance to you get to be on the same team or in the same organization as high level NBA players or two-way players, and it gives you a chance to like kind of sit back, and you even get to see the pro team sometimes, the NBA team sometimes. Like you get to sit back and see that there's levels to, like, whether it be a work ethic, whether it be the amount of time people spend in the gym, the type of
Yeah.
workouts they're doing,
Yeah.
how serious people be in the weight room. Like you get a real chance to see, like, it's a forget
Mm.
it being a business, like it's a lifestyle at that point. Like it's something you live by
Yeah.
every day.
Yeah. So I was gonna say, what's
Yeah.
the crazy thing that you've seen when it comes to G League? Like when you did you run across a pro that was going crazy? You know what I'm saying, in the weight room, like
No, the
somebody constantly.
craziest thing I seen was when I was with the Capital City Go-Go, and so we shared the same practice facility as the Wizards did.
Mm-hmm.
But so we have
Nice.
like the practice gym in the back is two courts, and then we got our home court in the front of the arena, which is where the Go-Go play their home games at. So
Mm-hmm.
we was in the back practicing one day. We had just finished practice, or we was about to start practice. I can't remember. But this was back when Dwight Howard was with the Wizards,
Mm.
and he was on the court, and he was on the court by himself doing a one-on-one workout with like a couple of coaches or trainers or whoever they were. And the G League guys, like, we wasn't even allowed to be out on the court. Like, we wasn't even allowed to sit out there and watch. They was like, y'all can't even be out here. Like, y'all gotta go back
Mm.
in the little locker room or go wherever y'all want, but y'all can't be out here. I was
Mm.
like, oh, this is crazy. Like, one dude out here
Like
working out, he
that?
got the whole court. One dude out here
Sheesh.
working out, he got the whole court reserved. Like, we can't go on the other court. We can't sit there and watch him work out. They was like, y'all can't be out here. I'm like, damn.
Jeez, what
All
was
right.
he doing? Was he doing one on one in the post? Was he working on free throws?
Just post
Like,
moves, yeah. Both. He did some free throws, some post moves, but it was
so
just
he,
him, and there was like three coaches out there.
yeah, so he just didn't want nobody to have access.
I don't know what it was, but they was like, man, y'all can't be out here. Like, y'all got to
Damn,
go back in the yeah, close the door.
shut y'all
Dwight out
down
here
fast.
working fast,
Sheesh.
fast.
Nah, that's what's up, man. I can see that, bro. Like, I think
Nice
it'll be a
thing.
great experience to witness, like being in the same facility, like if you with the Go Go, you know,
Yeah.
Capital City Go Go, or if you with Cleveland, or even if you know with the Lakers or anybody. I know an assistant coach for the G League for the Lakers. He says that it's a great experience because he gets to be around those NBA guys. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So I feel like it's always something to learn. It's just about the being optimistic more than pessimistic, right? And
Definitely. Yeah.
and just
Definitely.
obviously taking advantage of the situations. That's what's
Hmm.
up, bro. That's what's up. So what about the transition going from the G League now that you know that it's a business, that you know now that you know how things operate, and and I think it goes into going into another country. You might go into a country where the local player is just as good as you and you may not play.
Hmm.
So um just talk about the transition going from G League into your first couple years overseas. How was that?
On a basketball front, or just like life front, or
Life. I
both.
like life. Basketball.
Life.
Basketball is always going to be the same story. Yeah, I want your life.
Yeah.
What was your life like? Like how did you feel like mentally going through that process? Like who was your how did you pick out the right agent? How did he put you in the right situations? You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
things like that.
To be honest, I don't even remember who my first agent. I do remember who he was. I don't remember how we got in contact. I think I might have got in contact with him the summer before I went overseas. I went to this little Eurobasket camp in Vegas, and I was going crazy out there. And I think I might have met him out there, or might have been before that. I can't remember. That was like 6, 7 years
did
ago.
like, I don't mean to cut you off, but you did like that showcase, that Eurobasket showcase
Yeah.
that
Mm-hmm.
they do like every summer.
Yep.
Like,
Yep. That was
nah,
fresh
how
after the
was
G
that?
League.
How was that?
It was light. It was cool, but it was
Was
light.
it a mess?
Was it what?
Like, was it a mess? Like, was it like a lot of people? Like, was it a little bit structured? Like,
No, it was structured for sure, but there was
yeah.
at least like 100 players there for sure, like 8 teams
Mhm.
or so, 8, 9 teams. You playing like 2, 3 games a day. I think it lasted maybe 4 or 5 days. You get to play everybody once or twice, and yeah, that was pretty much it.
Okay, okay,
But
that's
to
what's up.
answer your question about so going over there, it was definitely, especially that was my first time like leaving the country. Other than when I was in the G League, I played in Toronto, but that's different than going to Europe or going to a different continent.
Yeah.
So when I got there, I didn't really know what to expect. I hadn't talked to anybody that had previously been there. I kind of just went into it blindly. It was my first experience out there in a
Where
foreign
were you?
continent. I was in Kosovo. My first overseas gig was in Paya, Kosovo. And yeah, it was definitely a culture shock. It was different. You gotta be okay with some things that generally you might not be okay with sometimes, like payments being late. Sometimes you might not get it at all. You got to take them to court. Just different things that you're not generally used to dealing with. But for me, it was more of this is my first time over here. I got a vision. I'm not gonna be here long. I know where I belong. I know where I can get to. So I ended up just dealing with whatever I had to deal with for those couple months. And ironically, that was the same season. I got out there in December. That was the same time COVID hit. So I was only there from like December through March, and then COVID hit, and everybody got sent home. But I was out there going crazy while I was out there.
Were you able to were you able to get all your money before you went home?
Nah, I ain't get it
That's
all. I ain't get it all. Yeah, that happened to me my first 2 years. Didn't
yeah,
get it all,
not
but
leaving without bread. That's
That
crazy,
that don't
man.
happen no more. I would never go for that no more. But back then, like
Never.
I said, I was new to it. I was so focused on where I was going that anything that I had to deal with right then, I was kind of just it bothered me, but I was just dealing with it. Like, man, this will be over soon. I'll be up out of this situation soon. And
Hmm.
sure enough, that's what happened.
Do you feel like Kosovo was a tough league when it comes to competition wise?
Um, I mean, for me, I would say kind of like anywhere else, at least that I've played so far overseas, they got some good players, like especially the foreign players, the Americans and stuff. They got some good players, but in my opinion, basketball wise, like I've pretty much been able to have my way
Yeah,
throughout my career anywhere I had been, especially up until unfortunate thing happened. But up until then, I was it don't matter where you put me, I was gonna be,
yeah,
I was gonna be one of them guys.
yeah. Your highlights was crazy at Kosovo, bro. But like you said, it was only
Yeah.
for a couple months, man. So how do you feel like that transition when COVID hit from Kosovo to your next gig? Like, I know, as we all know, COVID put the world on pause. So
Mhm.
you going through all this adversity, how do you feel like, what was going on through your mental during COVID, trying to get a job? Through that March 2020, and then that following year, 2021, and a little bit of
Mhm.
22, because the market didn't kind of open back up till 2022.
Yeah.
How you feel about that?
So so after it happened, I mean, we got sent home immediately, and that was my first season overseas. So like, I didn't really know what to expect. I ain't know. I mean, none of us have ever had to deal with anything like that. So I don't think in that situation nobody knew what to expect or nobody knew it was coming. But for me, I kind of just went home and waited a couple months, see how things played out. And ironically, that next season I ended up back in Kosovo, and I got there right 2 days before my birthday. I got there in January. And I went to the best team there. This time I was in the capital in Pristina, and I finished out. from January. I finished out in May. We went home in May, and once again, I was out there going crazy. I played even better that year than a little bit better that year than the first year. That year, I averaged, I think it was like 23-7, 24-7, and then
Yeah.
went home off season. And then by that next season, things, like you said, started to open up a little bit more and get back to normal. We was allowed to have fans back in the games and all that type of stuff. So that by that next season, 2022, things was a little better.
Mm-hmm.
Life and
Well,
basketball.
and that was what 2022. That was Hungary. That was top league Hungary, right?
Yep, yep.
Yeah, yeah. Talk about that a little bit. As we know, I've known a couple people that's played there. Justin Edwards. Justin's played
Yeah,
there.
of course,
Um,
yeah. Yeah, I
yeah,
know several people that ain't been there.
yeah. How was your
Um,
experience in Hungary?
so shoot, my experience in Hungary, that was shoot, I loved it. That was man, that was a season that really propelled me to the next level as far as like in the market. Like I always
Hmm.
had that game wise, but as far as like in the market, that was a season that really took me there. I was the second leading scorer in Hungary. I averaged 21 and a half and 7. Or no, 21 and a half and 5, my bad. 21 and a half and 5. Yeah, I kept my team relevant. I had went to a team that had just got promoted from the second division the year before. So they was obviously they was predicted to finish last and get demoted back to the second division. But me and my shooting guard there, my boy, we was both wilding. Like we was both averaging over a dub, kept us relevant. We won several. We think we won like 15 games that year.
Hmm.
Ended up keeping them in the league, and yeah. So Hungary was cool. Like I think that was the season that really put me where I needed to be, and then I followed it up with a crazy TBT run, which everybody knows what can happen from the TBT. So TBT, yeah, I was going crazy there. So after that season in the TBT, I feel like I was right where I needed to be.
Yeah, yeah. So to speak on a little bit when it comes to Hungary, like I heard the competition is really really good. They got good
Yeah,
They got good clubs there. But outside of basketball, how do you feel like you did mentally and physically there? Was the food good at least? Like, nightlife, anything like that? I mean, I'm not saying you were partying or anything, but it's all right to go out for some wine every now and then if you
yeah.
if the house is too bored. So how
No,
was
yeah.
that?
Hungary was. Like I said, the 2 years before that, I did Kosovo both times. So Hungary was like my first time in Europe outside of the Balkan region and Kosovo. Shoot, I loved it in Hungary. Like the food was cool. The food was good. The food was good. I didn't have to deal with no BS. Like as far as I didn't have to deal with no money being late, with no checks not coming, I ain't have to deal with nothing that like can happen at some spots you might go to. So Hungary was cool. I didn't have nothing stressing me out. I had good trainers there. We had a training room, weight room. Like it was Hungary was kind of reminded me not quite of college, but it was kind of like you got everything you need. Like you good. And then like you said, the whole like as far as off the court, it was cool. Like I had several friends from
Everything
my
you
team,
needed?
and then huh?
You had everything you needed? You feel
Yeah,
like?
everything we needed. Like it was Hungary was cool, and then like you said, there was stuff to do out there. Like in Kosovo, it was kind of boring. I was either in the gym or at home. Hungary,
Yeah.
it was more normal. It was stuff to do. If you want to go out, you can go out. I mean, my team was kind of what was we 2.5 3 hours away from the city Budapest, the capital. But anytime you have an away game or something, they'll drop you off in Budapest on the way back. They wouldn't
Yeah.
really trip about stuff like that. They'll drop you off,
Yeah.
let you do your thing, come back home, come to practice 2 days
Just make
later.
sure you at the next practice.
Exactly. You got to make sure you stay professional. Make sure you at where you supposed to be at on time. Practice. But yeah, Hungary was cool. That was my first time overseas where I really got to like enjoy the overseas culture, the life, without
Hmm.
having to deal with being stressed out from other things. So Hungary was my first time being able to actually like fully relax and just enjoy where I'm at.
Nice, nice. That's what's up. So,
Yeah.
did y'all have four players, four imports in Hungary, right?
We had
You and three others, or was it just
we had
you and one?
5. We
Y'all have
had 5.
five.
Yeah.
That's love. Then y'all was locked in. You feel like, or do you feel like
Yeah.
Y'all was good.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And one of them I had brought with me. I'm from Kosovo. I had played with them in Kosovo. And when they
Wow.
signed me in Hungary, they was like, you got any four man, we need a four man, blah blah blah. And I told them like I just play with one. I know me and him played well together, so if you bringing me, you might as well bring him too. And
Lock,
they
lock.
ended up bringing him.
You got him the job. That's what's up. I mean,
I mean,
obviously he got himself the job, with his
yeah,
stats and his numbers, but
I
that's
kind
what's
of
up,
just threw
man.
his name out there to the team. That's
Yeah.
my guy. You probably know him or his brother. His name is Seth Leday. His brother's name is Zach Leday.
Leday. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Play with Milan now, Partizan last year.
Dallas. Dallas.
Yes,
Yes, yes,
yep. They're
yes.
both in
I,
Dallas. Yeah,
I got it. I know Leday. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So that's what's up. He played like his brother.
They damn near do play alike, but I think my teammate Seth, I think he's just a little more athletic. Like he's a bouncy. Like
Mm,
I used to throw him lobs every game. Like he's one of
easy.
those bouncy type. Yeah.
Nice.
But other than
Nice.
that, they definitely have a very, very similar game.
Yeah. So that's cool. So how do you feel like that transition from college being in a and not necessarily the system that you fit in, right, with the coach from Virginia. How do you feel like that transition going from not necessarily having the ball in your hands to trying to learn a different system to now you essentially being like, I wouldn't necessarily say being like James Harden, but you kind of are the system. Like you're ball
Yeah.
dominating, the one coming off the
Shoot.
screening rolls, like your decision making, like everything's going to and through you. Like, how was
Yeah,
that? Like, you feel like that boosted your confidence in a way?
for sure. I loved it. Like it was, yeah, that was what I had been looking for. Like that was when I went overseas, I would say that's when I really, really got to like get in my bag and I really like felt super comfortable on the court. Like that's when I really fell in love with just like being in the gym OD and just, honing in on my craft and working on my body, just everything. Like that was my first time where I got to really see, like you said, I had a very successful college career, but like in my pro career when I got overseas, like that was my first time like really seeing like that level of success that I was seeing. So yeah, it was great for me.
Yeah, bro. I feel like that's the thing about college, man. Sometimes you get put in that box, and then
Yeah,
when you get
sometimes you just be a victim of the system. Like you'll
mm,
be
it's the system, I like
on the
it.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you
But
go
over there,
you essentially you kind of are the system in a way because
yeah,
they expect you to produce. You need to
exactly.
like you're essentially, and people don't understand that, bro. When we really, really, really say this, and this because like you are essentially an NBA player of that country in the top
Right,
league,
for
right?
sure.
Like you coming over there, you coming over to Kosovo or Hungary, and they're giving you an X amount of money, and they're expecting you. Listen, I don't care what you do or how you do it. We just want to win.
Right.
If you want to play Harlem Globetrotter style, as long as you get as long as
As
you
long
get
as you
20
bring it in wins,
assists, wins are wins. They don't care, right?
for sure.
Yeah, that's dope. And also just hearing just seeing it, knowing you, man, because we're brothers, man. Just seeing the different style of game that you did play in college, it's totally different in the
Yeah.
NBA. You know what I'm saying? But you always had that, Nigel. You showed it when we played against KU. You showed it against
Hmm.
Iowa State. You had glimpses
Hmm.
in practice, bro. Like your
Yeah.
pull up threes, you reject the crossover step backs. Like I remember all them, bro. And so
Yeah.
you've always had it, but it was just a matter of time. It was just a
Yeah.
matter of
I think it was a
timing, bro.
matter of time and like it was a matter of like you said, like when you go overseas, like that's your role. Like that's what they expect of you. And I feel like
Yeah.
when I was in college, I never really had like the ultimate green light in college where, I felt free to go out there and take a tough shot. Might make it, might
Yeah.
miss it, but yeah, you know what I'm saying? I felt like when I got overseas, like I had just the ultimate freedom. I didn't never have to look over my shoulder. I felt like I kind of had that. I got stuck in that mindset in college sometimes. Like I would just feel like I got to go out there and be perfect. I can't make no mistakes. I can't. And I mean, you can't play like, you're not going to be you like that.
No.
And I felt like when I got overseas, I just got to play free. I didn't worry about nothing, missing shots, don't care, take the next one. Like, so like, yeah.
Hey, because honestly,
It
who
was-
else gonna take it? Really
exactly.
though, like think about it. Who else
Exactly.
is? That's
And
what's
that's what
up,
they,
man.
like you
That's
said, that's
what's
what
up.
they bringing you there for. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, it was
So
definitely different.
with that sense of confidence and coming off of a great season, talk a little bit about what shoot. How many games did y'all win in the TBT? Y'all won
We went all the way
what?
to the championship. We went to the
Yeah,
championship.
yeah. Talk about that, because I remember vividly like the blacktop games that y'all
Yep,
played.
Rucker Park.
'Cause you was with my guy Isaiah Wilkerson. You
Wilkinson.
remember him? Isaiah
Nah.
Wilkerson? No.
Who's that?
Well, I believe that y'all was on the team. Anyways, you played on the
Was he a
blacktop.
guard? Big man?
Yeah, he was a guard. He was a
Probably
guard.
talking about Isaiah Swan.
I'm sorry, Swan.
Yeah, yeah,
Swan.
yeah,
You're right. You're
yeah.
right. Swan.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lefty, right?
Yep, yep. Isaiah
Yeah.
Swan.
Yeah.
That's my
I
guy.
just we had just had a stint in Mexico together. So that's
Yeah,
how I knew. That's how I
yeah,
knew.
yeah.
That's
He
what's
was on
up,
the team.
man. How you feel like that went? Cause y'all went crazy, bro.
Man, we was tripping in the TBT. Like we like you said, our first region we was in the Rucker Park, ran through that, and then we went to Dayton and we ended up upsetting the Wichita State Aftershocks team, which they had a stacked team. They had Connor
Hmm.
Frankamp and all the Wichita State alum that they had, and we ended up. So I think we won 6 games. So I think the whole thing is 7 to win the championship. So we made it to the championship game, $1 million game, and we played against Blue Collar U, the Buffalo alumni team.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's when
played
y'all.
against them,
Man,
lost in
my
the
my man.
championship game. Who?
Mm-hmm. Ed Dennis.
I don't remember
Ed,
him.
shoot, he was probably the one always talking. But anyways, it don't necessarily matter, man. But
Yeah, yeah, we
how
played
do you
them.
um, how do you feel like the the atmosphere was when it comes to like those TBT games? Because
Oh my
you know,
God.
for I've never been. I think I've been to the Sweet 16. So that's about what, 3 games. So we win our first 2 games, and you get the third game. But anyways, like, how do you feel like that energy and that vibe was when it comes to that TBT atmosphere, man? Because I mean, y'all competing for 2 million, bro. Like that's
Yeah,
high level. That's pressure.
TBT atmosphere was crazy. That was some of the most fun like I've had just playing basketball. The TBT was, man, that shit was crazy. Especially starting off in the Rucker Park. That was the first time they ever had a outdoor
Hmm.
region. Not only it being an outdoor region, but Rucker Park is one of the icons of street basketball. So being able to go there and the atmosphere there was crazy. Had to do it on the mic, commentating the game live. Got Lance Stevenson in the crowd. The Rucker
Yeah,
Park region it was lit. But then even when we went inside and indoor and Dayton, like, it was just every game it was electric, energetic, atmosphere crazy. And then yeah, we was just winning. So the TBT that was a great 2 to 3 week period of basketball for us for sure.
during that 2-3 week period, was you and your agent's phone buzzing a lot?
What?
With
I was in his phone. I know you hear something. What's up? What's the
yeah.
word? What's going on? Like I know you hearing something. I would think I was like I think I was the third leading scorer in TBT total. Had a 20 ball in the championship game. I know that was on ESPN, so I know everybody saw that. So I mean, I was
Yeah,
after the game, I was pissed we lost, but it took me a couple days to get over it. But after them couple days, I'm hitting my agent like, yo, what's the word? Where am I
yeah,
going? What's going on? I know your phone gotta be buzzing.
yeah. So talk about it. What happened? What happened?
Um, Shoot, the phone was buzzing like I thought, and stuff was coming in, and
Hmm.
I hadn't decided where I was gonna go yet, but I was getting a lot of options, and then it was literally 2 weeks later, I got into the car accident, and that kind of changed everything.
Before we get into that, like, what do you feel like you was gonna head next when it comes to your next job?
I would probably went to most likely either like France or this Champions League team I was talking to.
Dang.
That's where I really wanted to go. France is somewhere, I've been wanting to go there. So when, people was hitting me up and telling me teams was inquiring about it, that was somewhere I was locked in. I wanted to go there for sure. But I
Yeah.
had some other things, Champions League, which, that's international, would have been playing country to country, so that would have been cool too. But
Mm.
yeah, it was definitely buzzing after that season and following it up with that CBT run I had, things was looking real, real nice.
Nice, nice. That's what's up,
But
man. Well, I know this next topic is a little bit tricky, man, but um, however, like I said, however you feel about it, if you want to talk about that transition, after the couple weeks,
yeah.
like just what happened, bro.
So I be like when I be home in the summers and stuff in the off seasons, the last like 2 or 3 years, a lot of the times, I mean, I'm not far from New York. It's only like a 3.5, 4 hour drive from me. So I got a lot of, I went to Rutgers, so I mean, I got a lot of connections up there in that New York, New Jersey area. And so when I be home in the off seasons and stuff, I like to go play at, Dykeman. It's like a little,
Hmm.
yeah, Dykeman. Everybody know Dykeman. So like when I be
Hmm.
home and stuff, I be going to play in Dykeman. I mean, once again, not just the basketball, but I just love that, that street ball atmosphere, kind of like the Rucker and the TBT. Like it's just a different vibe when you
It's
know what
the
I'm saying,
vibe.
playing in those type of games. So I be doing that a lot over the summer. So one time, August 18th, 2 weeks after the TBT ended, I had went up there, and this is probably like right before I'm about to sign and probably head out within the next week or two. So I had went up there and played in the game. I had played in two games back to back. The first one was at a different court. I can't remember what it was called. And then I had drove like 10 minutes to Dykeman and played in that game. And the game ended at like 10:30, 11, somewhere in late evening. And
Hmm.
like I said, it's a 3.5, 4 hour drive. So generally, I would have just stayed the night, got me a little hotel, stayed the night, got on the road, go home in the morning. But we was taking my son, we was taking him on a little vacation, gonna take him to Busch Gardens. So I was like,
Mm.
nah, game over with. I'm getting on the road. I'm gonna get home probably 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, but it's cool. I'm gonna get home, be ready to go in the morning. So I leave Dykeman the court. I'm on the road for not even 5 minutes after leaving the court. As soon as I got off on the exit, got on the highway, about to head home.
Mm.
And I could just feel like as I'm driving, I could feel like the driver's side front tire. It didn't seem sturdy. Like it didn't seem like it was locked in how it's supposed to be, and I could feel it like as I'm driving, almost like it's like shaking or wiggling or something as I'm driving. So
Hmm.
within a few seconds after that, I pick up a little bit of speed just to try to get in a different lane. And as I'm picking up some speed, the whole wheel like it comes off the car and it's just rolling down the highway. So at this point, I'm looking out the window because I see sparks flying everywhere because it's come off to the point where like it's the metal of the wheel grinding
Yeah,
on the
yeah, you Grand Theft Auto 3 wheeling it right now.
pretty much. So like
I'm not trying to.
I'm
I'm just
driving.
trying to
No, no, literally. So like as
yeah,
I'm driving now, the car is like this, like it's lopsided. The one whole wheel came off, so it's leaning, and
yeah.
it's grinding on the street, so it's sparks flying everywhere. I'm not know I'm I'm in the heat of the moment. I don't know what's going on. I'm thinking all I see is sparks flying. I don't know if the car is on fire, if it's about to catch on fire, if it's about to blow up. I don't know what's going on. So I'm on a 2 lane highway where there is no like shoulder or nowhere you can pull over. So like on my car is just I just had to come to a dead stop in the middle of the lane. Like there's nowhere to go. It was so
Mm.
close to like the little wall that I could roll my window down and like reach my arm out and touch the wall. So like there's nowhere to pull over. You couldn't even walk
Yeah.
between the car and the wall. So I just stopped the
Mm.
car in the middle of the lane, hoping nobody's gonna come through, not come through, like come through to pick me up, yeah, but I'm hoping nobody's gonna be, driving on this highway. Cause on that
Because
highway,
go ahead.
what was you saying? No, I
I
was
was
gonna
gonna
say
say
on that
'cause it's
highway,
late, right? It's
it's
late.
what?
Like one. It's
Yeah,
like
it's
one
like
two.
nah, this is right after the game. I would have got home at like 2 or 3 in the morning. This is like 10:30, 11 p.m. probably.
Okay. Okay.
So I'm hoping like, nobody's gonna come on this highway, because the highway I was on is very badly lit. Like it's not a lot of street lights, it's dark. And from what I heard later on, that's one of them highways like that. The Dykeman games be lit. So that's one of the
Mm-hmm.
highways that like people be getting on after leaving Dykeman. And they say because the fact that it's not lit, because people at Dykeman, they be out there drinking and smoking and doing all types of stuff in the stands watching the game. So they probably, how I can get, but because of that fact and the fact that the highway is so badly lit, like a lot of people after Dykeman, they be on that road like racing and shit, like just doing whatever.
Oh, mm,
So I pull over, I get out, I'm calling, like I said, I know so many people in that area, so I'm calling every contact I have, like, yo, this is where I'm at, come get me. Then I ended up running like probably 100 meters back, like against the traffic to look at the street sign, the highway sign, so I could tell like the name of the sign. This is where I'm at. Blah blah blah. Got the name, ran back in front of my car, and I'm just standing in front of the car, like right in front of the hood of the car, and still blowing everybody up, calling. And a few minutes later, as I'm looking down on my phone, trying to, I'm panicking at this point. Like anybody I called, I'm sure they could hear the tone of my voice. Like I'm panicking. Like I need you to come get me ASAP. I'm sure
yeah.
everybody could sense it. But a few minutes later, car come around flying. I'm looking down at my phone, trying to, just hit up anybody I can. And the last thing I remember, I looked up like at the last minute because I could. It was a sports car, so I could hear the engine was like he was revving. I could hear the engine was going crazy. It was loud as hell. So I
Yeah.
look up last minute, and that's the last thing I remember. I seen the headlights. That's all I could see was just the headlights at this point. And he ended up hitting my car. And like I said, I'm standing like directly right in front of my car. So he hit my car. My car hit me. It threw me like 100 feet, threw my body 100 feet, probably through the air and all types of stuff. But I ended up landing somehow, by the grace of God, I ended up landing in some bushes that if
Mm,
I would have landed like 20, 30 more feet ahead, I would have landed into oncoming traffic. Luckily, where I got hit, the traffic was only going this way. But like a
yeah.
couple feet ahead, it opened up. There was traffic going both ways. So
Mm,
I landed in some
yeah.
bushes like right before the oncoming traffic was there. And this shit happened on a Thursday. And I ended up waking up in the hospital on Sunday, panicking, not knowing what's going on. My mom's in there, family in there and stuff. And
You woke up Sunday, bro.
yeah, yeah.
Do you? It's tough, bro. Do you remember anything? Like, do you like what your mind was going through? Like,
I remember panicking. Like I remember I'm on the phone, like damn near crying, like not crying, but like I kind of seen the shit happen before it happened. Like I didn't see it, but I'm like,
I
yo,
was gonna
like
ask you that, bro. Yeah.
I'm calling everybody I know in that area. I'm like, bro, somebody get here immediately, or I'm not gonna make it. Like I'm this the situation
You
I'm in.
yeah. You kind of
I'm
just
like, I'm
felt
not.
it with me, bro. Like
Yeah,
you kept
yeah,
present.
bro. Because like as I said, like when I got out the car, like it's one of them streets that it be lit at that time of the night. So I'm hoping that cars ain't gonna be, flying down on it. But of course they is. And like I'm in the middle of the lane, so like it's to the point where um like the cars they're driving by so fast that you ever been at a stoplight and you in your car, you about to turn left or something, and that there's cars passing by you to your right, and like every time they fly by your car, like kind of like
Just
jerks to
shake.
the left or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like I'm feeling that on my body. Like cars is driving by me while I'm sitting outside of my car, and like I'm just sitting here like just feeling the whiplash from the window of the car, and I'm like, bro, somebody gotta get here ASAP. Like, and lucky enough, the person that found me, it was my coach that I had just played for in the game at Dykeman. He was the one that found my body, and yeah,
Damn.
yeah.
That's crazy, bro. So happened? What if you don't mind me asking? What happened like when you woke up Sunday?
When I
Like I'm
woke up
sure.
Sunday, I'm just looking around. I don't know where I'm at. I'm looking around. I see my My leg is just locked out, can't move it. I see I got like two rods in the sides of my knee, just holding my hip in place, and my whole right side of my arm is wrapped up, hand wrapped up, can't see my hand, shoulder in a sling,
Mm.
hip locked out, like I said. So I'm just like, I look over, my mom is sitting there, and I'm like, yo, like, what's going on? I'm supposed to be, I'm leaving the country in the next week or so. I'm about to be out of here. Like, what are we doing? Can you tell this nurse to come take all this stuff off so we can slide? Mom not telling me nothing. So I didn't know nothing for a while. And then the nurse came in. I don't know exactly how much longer this was after I started inquiring about like what's going on. But the nurse came back in and she's the one who ended up, breaking the news to me, telling me, I guess my mom, she probably couldn't do it. She didn't want to be the one to tell me, what happened.
Yeah.
So the nurse came in and ended up telling me what happened. I just remember, man, I lost it in there. Like immediately, immediately, that shit was, I get watery eyed just talking about it. But yeah, man, that shit was wild.
Nah.
So,
Do you mind if I read, the injuries that happened, bro?
no, yeah, you go
I
ahead.
mean, what it says: concussion, parts of a little bit of your brain was possibly bleeding.
Yeah, I had a
Um,
concussion, brain bleed.
broken cheekbone, broken collarbone, a torn labrum, a dislocated hip, fractured pelvis, and compound fractures in your hand, bro.
Yeah, shooting hand.
How?
Well,
Like,
man,
I'm gonna be because I read all this. A torn labrum. I had a torn labrum. You remember when I had my torn labrum?
that
You
was in your
remember that, right?
shoulder, right?
Huh? Yeah,
That was your
that's my
shoulder
right.
labor. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And I was crying when it would get hit, like off the
yeah,
rip,
yeah.
bro. You did that and more. Like,
My labrum, that was my hip labrum. It wasn't my shoulder.
it- oh, okay, your hip labrum.
Yeah, it was my hip
But
labrum, pelvis, and the hip dislocated. Yeah.
God, bro, that's tough, man. How did you overcome, man? Like, just straight up, like, how did you overcome that? Like, what is your thoughts? Like, as you know, you about to sign a lucrative deal to
Yeah,
France, like but now you just
see,
know, like,
wherever it might have been.
yeah, wherever it
But
might have been.
no, you good. But my thing was like after it took me a while to like just wrap my head around what was going on. But shoot, this would be hard to talk about. But my main thing was just regardless of what happened, I wanted to my basketball career, like I wanted it to go, like I wanted to do everything on my terms. I don't want there to ever be a situation or any person or anything that takes me away from the game or what I love to do, what I want to do. I want to be able to walk away from it on my terms. And I was just like, I know what I'm fighting against. I know how long it might take, but I was that determined to let my story be told by me. Like I didn't want to be one of those unfortunate events like, oh man, he had it all. He could have been this, could have been that, but unfortunate event happened and I didn't want that to be I refused for that to be my story. Like I did everything and anything I could to make sure that whenever my time does come and whenever I do hang it up, whenever I do go out of this sport, it's because I was ready to, because I wanted to, because I felt like it was time. Like I just refused to let any situation kind of force my hand into something I wasn't ready for. So that was my main motivation, was just like I didn't want to be one of them people that just had an unfortunate ending to their career. That
That's
was
some,
it.
yeah, that's some persevering. That's some persevering shit. And excuse me for letting that out, bro. But that's tough, man, because
Yeah,
the world is gonna throw a lot of jabs at you, whether it be through
sure.
family members, through peers, whether it be through co-workers telling you maybe you should do this, maybe you should do that, maybe it could be incidents. You know what I'm saying? But
the fact that you made a conscious decision, bro. Like, and that is so hard to do, bro, because so many people go around floating in life and don't understand, you know? So the fact that you make a conscious decision and you persevere like that, bro,
Yeah,
that's, I mean, that speaks volumes to who you are, bro, since day one, man, because that's hard. That's hard, bro. You're fighting mentally, you fight mental, you fighting your physical, obviously with the injuries, but then also I'm sure that you fighting the spiritual side too. Why you?
man, man.
Why? What did I do wrong? How did I go wrong? Where did I mess up? You know,
Why
like
now? Why
why now?
now? Why let
Why
me get this
now?
far just to
You just about to start? Why? Like, are you punishing me? Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? Like all these questions,
all of it?
and you're not. And the
Still to
sad
this
thing is,
day.
you're not gonna right then and there. You're not gonna get an answer, but you just have to make the conscious decision, and you did, bro. And Nigel, that shit is tough, bro.
Yeah,
That
man.
was
That was that was definitely yeah. I remember just, going back, having to go back to New York for, in the following months for just checkups and check back in with my surgeons and all that. I just remember, it was an uphill battle. Like from you might never play again to you'll be lucky to ever play again to even if you do, you'll never be the same. Just all types of
mm,
just everything. And it was just tough. Like just being in a wheelchair for 4 months, not being able to take care of myself, being like a baby again, having to just get everything done for you. Just it was just, it was
yeah,
definitely one of them times that it'll change you, it'll mold you, it'll turn you to a man for sure.
yeah. Because like you said, you either got two options. You either gonna fold from it or you gonna grow from it,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. And I couldn't. There's not one bone in my body, even to this day, I could not have listened to everybody else. Not everybody, but the people that was telling me how hard it was gonna be, how long it was gonna be, might not never be the same. My whole thing was, all right, watch, just watch. Give it
Yeah.
time. See, we're gonna revisit this conversation.
Uh-huh.
But
So
it was
I love it, bro. So how was that? I mean, I know we talked about the process and you said it was an uphill battle, but when did it click for you? Like, like I'm getting back in. Like, obviously, you getting back in the lab, but now, like, when did it click physically? When you see like your rehab process going well, and then how was that feeling when you first stepped back on the court type? If that makes sense.
and to be honest, I had a rehab process that I don't think you'll probably meet anybody else that has a similar story. So
Mm,
it never really clicked for me because throughout I had a 15-month recovery process, and throughout that whole process, it was all 100%. It was all dedicated to fixing my body back. Like the basketball side of it was, I didn't even worry about that. I'm like, basketball is basketball. Like I'm gonna be able to pick that up and do my thing. I've been doing this my whole life. Like I'm not even worried about basketball. So to be honest with
mm,
you, I got cleared. I got cleared like September 21st, and that whole time, like I said, I was just focused on the rehab on my body. So that whole time, I did not touch a basketball.
mm.
That's over a year at that point. I got cleared September 21st. I played 2 weeks of pickup, like not even just working out and shit. I just played 2 weeks of pickup and I was gone. Signed a deal. So
Yeah.
yeah. So like, cause I just knew, like I know,
Gone.
huh?
You
Your
said
phone was
two
breaking
weeks
up.
ago it was gone.
No, literally. I played 10 days, Monday through Friday, twice, and then I was out. I didn't have much time to get back into my rhythm. I mean, at this point you got to think about it. I haven't touched a basketball in over a year.
Yeah.
So, I didn't have much time to get back in rhythm. I didn't have much time to, get back to even really feel what my body is like on the court. Like to even have a hard workout and then be able to go to sleep and wake up the next day and see how I feel. Like I didn't know none of that. Like I went into it blind, but my whole mindset was just I've already been out however many, 14, 15 months I've already been out. I missed the whole season. I've already missed the first 2 to 3 months of the next season. And I
Yeah.
just know how it can go in overseas basketball. It's kind of like out of sight, out of mind. Like you miss 1 year, it's gonna set you back. But you
You missed
miss a
two.
year and a half, 2 years, it's over. You
Yeah.
done.
Mhm.
Like
It's over.
so I was like, I might not be
Yep.
exactly. So I was like, I just got cleared. I know I'm not me. I know I'm not ready. But if I don't take what comes now and give myself a chance and bet on myself and see where the chips fall, then I might as well chalk it up. So I was
Yeah.
like, I took that deal. I went out there not
Where'd you
knowing,
take
I didn't
the
know
deal?
what to expect. Latvia, Latvia. Didn't know what to expect, and I went out there and shattered my expectations. So
Why you
yeah,
say
it
that?
was. Why do I say that?
Yeah. Why you say that? How did you shatter your expectations? What was it because like, bar was set super low for you, or like did you set your bar low just because you got what, or what?
I would
You
say
just you had it in
just
you.
just from like knowing what my body had went through, and then knowing I got cleared 2 weeks ago. I ain't really been in the gym. I've been in the gym for the last 2 weeks, just playing pickup.
Yeah.
My rhythm is off. My timing, I mean, just naturally, my rhythm had to be off. My timing had to be off. My confidence probably definitely wasn't where it was because before the whole accident and after the Hungary and TBT, like you could have damn near put me in the league and I couldn't tell me I don't belong. So like my confidence was at an all time high, but I knew when I came back, like I said, my rhythm was off, timing was off. My confidence, of course, took a hit. Like not knowing what to expect, not just knowing my body is a different body. It's like Nigel 2.0. And then so I would say I shattered my expectations because I went to Latvia and so basically how I ended up on that team in Latvia, one of the coaches there, he was an assistant coach the year before on the team, the Champions League team I was talking about that was trying to get me. And he ended
Nice.
up going to this other team in Latvia. So I just
Okay.
remembered, I don't know how I thought about it, but I just remembered back from a year before when he hit me up. And at this point, like I said, I was trying to get back, so I was hitting up everybody. So I went back into my Instagram DM. I found our conversation. I was like, "Yo, I remember, you was with this Champions League team last year, and you hit me up after the accident, and I wasn't able to play, but I'm back now, blah blah blah." And he was, went perfectly. He was like, "Oh man, you just the type of player that we need, blah blah blah. I'm gonna talk to my GM and the coaches, let them know that you're ready, and see what happens." And sure enough, that same day, I ended up signing. Went
That's
out there.
hey.
It was it might have been like a 1 or 2 day process. So if it wasn't that
Hey,
same day, it was the next day.
yeah, that's fast, bro. That's
Yeah,
OD. That's
yeah,
a blessing,
yeah.
bro. Yeah.
So shoot, at this point, I'm damn near like I was acting like my own agent. I'm hitting up everybody, all the coaches that had
Hmm.
hit me up, all the teams. I'm reaching out to everybody, like, "Yo, I'm ready." Blah blah blah. So I went out there, and we had a game the day after I landed. So like I said, at this point, this is why I'm saying I shattered my expectations. I don't know what to expect. Like I don't know nothing. Like so, I'm just going out there hooping off an instinct. So
Mm-hmm.
my very first game, the day after I landed, I played 18 minutes and I had 14 and 6. So I'm like, okay, yeah, like I'm not
Hey,
quite me yet, but this is light. Like I'm just
it's
at this
good.
point I'm just
Yeah.
hooping off of just being better than people in that league because like
Hmm.
yeah, so I was just like, all right, like 14 and 6, 18 minutes, it's not too shabby.
Yeah,
So
for
I'm
real.
like, all right, cool. This is a start at least. Like it's a little bit of a confidence builder. Start to feel like myself again, hopefully. But then I come out the next game and play 8 minutes.
Mm.
So I'm like, what's going on? The coach that brought me there is like, man, I don't know. Like I don't really agree with, how what they just how they're doing you right now. Mind you, this is only 2 games in.
Yeah.
So I'm like, but I came in here and played less than 24 hours later. Y'all played me 18 minutes. I had 14 and 6. Like, what else could I have done? He didn't really
Yeah.
have an answer. And so like I said, that next game I played 8 minutes, and then after that they let me go. 2 games in.
2 games
So I'm
in.
2 games in, and first game going how it went. So I'm just like at this point it's my first stop, so I'm not putting too much into it. But it kind of did its thing up here. Like I'm like this has never happened before. I ain't never been let go. I ain't never even been thought about getting let go. Like, but I'm like all right, whatever. First stop. I can't be too mad. I had a good first game, so I don't think it's my fault.
Yeah.
So I ended up sitting for like a week or so, and then I got picked up by another team in the same league.
So you never
So
went home.
no, I never went home. I
Good.
was just chilling in the hotel, and I ended up getting picked up by a team that like an hour away. So it was perfect. So I went
I have a
there.
quick question.
Yeah.
I have a question before I cut you go into the next segment. But
Mm.
um how was your agent like around this time, like during that process? I know like you had the accident. Like, did your agent stick with you like throughout the whole 15-month rehab process, or did you have to basically, like you said, become your own agent, i.e., or find a new agent type thing, like that original agent that you was dealing with before?
The agent I had before, I signed with that agent. My first deal with him was the Hungry deal.
Yeah.
So I took the Hungry deal, then that happened, and um, throughout the whole recovery process, like, I still had that agent, but I don't feel like, he wasn't really communicating, he wasn't really checking up on me, he wasn't really. So I was like, all right, whatever. Maybe I mean, I'm not playing right now. He can't really do nothing for me right now. Maybe that's why
Yeah.
I'm not gonna think too much of it, whatever. But
Yeah.
then I came back and the communication still just wasn't what I needed it to be. And I mean at this point I'm in a very I was in a very fragile like point of my career. Like I needed everything you know to go
Yeah.
as planned. Like I'm coming back from something that's unheard of. So I'm like, I don't got time to be having to chase you down or having to like at least just communicate. Let me know what's up. Tell me something. And
Right.
so I ended up parting ways with him, and I took both of those Latvia deals with a different agent.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, that's what I kind of wanted to know, because I know how agents can get sometimes, man. And we'll get back to your story, but I know how agents can get. They'll, you know, scratch my back if I scratch yours. If you're not
yeah,
really doing
exactly,
nothing, they don't they
exactly.
don't really they don't really care too much. And then so you got to find the right when it comes to agents. But so yeah, go ahead, continue with your story. My fault, brother. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you good, you
You
good.
the next team after
Yeah,
after a week.
yeah. We can have something in there. But yeah. So I ended up going to the next team. Perfect situation. Like they needed a point guard. I came in there. I put the ball in my hand immediately. And early on, it was just back to the old stuff, like back to how I was doing in Kosovo and Hungary. Like he was letting me green light, letting me rock, like not in
Mm-hmm.
my way, not trying to control me, just letting me hoop, and it was working. So my first game there, it was a road game, 24-6, and I mind you, the second team I had went to, it was a losing team. By the time I had got there, they were 3-5, 3-6, something like that. So I mean, that's
Mm-hmm.
not like the bottom of the barrel, but y'all got double the losses that y'all got when you're losing team.
Yeah,
So
y'all. Yeah.
yeah, so we was 3-6. I got there first game, 24-7 win. Second game, this was against Promete Euro Cup team. They almost went Euro League last.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Was yeah. Uh huh.
but one of my good friends was on that team. He was on my TBT team. His name is Ron March.
Mm-hmm.
So we played them my second game with the new team. They're beating everybody in the league. So Promete is their team based in Ukraine, but because of the whole war and everything in Ukraine, they they're playing in the Latvia league now. So in that and Euro Cup, of course. But
Thank you for telling me that because I had no idea. I knew they were a Ukrainian team, right? But I'm like, yo, how are they still operating right now? Okay, bet.
no, yeah, they're in Latvia. They're staying in Riga.
Okay, nice.
So that's who we played our second game. Dude, I got a whole video from that game. Across the water, whatever it's called. But
Hmm.
yeah, so we played them second game, 20-7. Mind you, I'm telling you, they beating everybody in our league by 40, 50, 30 every game. So we going into it like, man, let's see what happens. At least let's play hard and let the chips fall where they may. I mean, we're not expected to win, so if we don't, it is what it is. On to the next one. So
Hmm.
we lace them up, go out there. I had 20-7 in my second game and beat them. Beat
Mm.
Promete. Biggest win to this day. It's the biggest win, and my team was called BK Ogre. It's the biggest win in Ogre history.
Yeah,
So at this point, I'm like, all right, this might have been the comeback spot I needed. Like they let me rock. We beating teams we ain't got no business beating. And then so as time goes on, I don't know what happened, but the coach just kind of switched up on me. Like he went from first couple games not really saying nothing to me, just letting me do me, letting me rock out to the very next game after we paid Promete. Um, I go out, had a slow start. I probably missed three out of my first four shots or something like that. But for me, that's nothing. I might make
yeah,
seven out of my next eight. So like,
exactly.
yeah. So I'm like, whatever. So that happened, and then that game I probably ended up playing 17, 18 minutes. So I'm like, all right, whatever, one game. So that's kind of like for the rest of the time I was there, it kind of ended up being like when I'm hot, he let me rock. But for the most part, he wanted me to come in and telling me that's a bad shot or pass the ball. And I'm like, bro, you've you said that you've been following me my whole career. These are the same shots you see me take and make everywhere. How is this a bad shot? Just
Yeah,
because it's a bad shot for some people, for me, that's a great shot. I make these on a regular basis. And
and you
like you
were
told me,
always like,
always
I'm
what?
sorry, you off, bro, but you were always like that, bro. I used to be mad at you. I'm like, yo, what are you shooting? Shwaka. All right, well,
Cash. Yeah,
all
so I'm
right.
like, and I'm like, bro, I've been doing this in Europe for the last 4 years. What do you mean? And so that's basically how it went. And he was kind of one of those who eventually like he wanted the local guys to be running the team. I don't think he wanted the team ran by Americans, and that's how it was. And we was winning. We went from 3-6. So I lasted with that team for 10 games. In my 10 games, we went from 3-6 before I got there to the 10 games I was there. We went 8-2. Beat Promete,
Nice.
Euro Cup, beating everybody. We in the top 5 or 6 playoffs, ready to make the playoffs. Out of nowhere, they ended up letting me go. So I'm like, man, y'all brought me here. Y'all was losing. Y'all brought me here. We're winning now. I'm the team's leading scorer, the team's leading assist guy, and y'all still let me go. So at this point, this is the second stop now. So at this point, mentally, I'm like all messed up. I'm like, now I'm starting to like question myself. I'm like, is it me? Like, am I not the same? Because like I said before, all of this stuff happened. That would never happen. That never happened in my career. So I'm
Yeah,
like, this did happen twice now in 2 months. I'm like starting to question myself. Like maybe it is me. Maybe I'm not the same. Maybe this. Maybe that. But then I think about it. I'm like, that don't make sense because I was the team's leading scorer, leading assist. We're winning. But I'm like, I don't know. So whatever.
yeah,
I ended up by the time that they did that, my agent already had another deal for me, which I ended up taking. And then for me, it was a better deal anyway. I was getting paid twice as much. So I was like, shoot, I can't even complain. I didn't play my way up. It didn't happen the way I wanted it to, but shoot, it happened. So I go there to Slovakia, go there, and only lasted 3 games, bringing me in. And in those 3 games, like I didn't even touch 20 minutes. Like they bringing me in, barely letting me play. I'm sitting out for a whole quarter, sit out the whole third quarter, sit out the whole fourth quarter, and I'm
mm,
like, so what did y'all bring me here for then? Like
yeah.
I was just confused. So lasted there for 3 games, then they let me go. Then I went home for maybe like a month and a half. I went home. And then I ended up like, all right, let me, I've had since my comeback, I've had three bad situations or situations that didn't work out in Europe. I'm like, let me try something outside of Europe. I wanted to try the Middle East. The Middle East, that's where the big bags is. So I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
shoot, let me try the Middle East, see what's up over here. So I took the biggest deal I've ever took in Iraq. So I was ready. I'm like, all right, bet, the basketball over here is light. This Middle East is easy. Like I ain't even gonna break a sweat. So I go
Yeah.
out there, I land, I go to practice. They just want me to watch practice. Huh?
I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, bro, but like, how was
Yeah.
flying there? Like flying to Iraq, like, was it a crazy process, like getting there?
So I flew into I don't even remember my route. Oh, I had a layover in Qatar and
Mm.
then flew to Iraq straight from there, I think. It wasn't too bad. Like it was 14, 15 hours, but that's not much more than Europe. Europe is usually 12, 13, so it was maybe a couple more hours.
So you had like three flights
To get there, I think I just had two. I think I flew
from
it might have
home,
been three.
from home to you said Qatar, and then Qatar, home to Qatar is one, and
So
then Qatar to Iraq. That's two. That's two.
yeah, yeah. I
Okay,
think that was it.
that's what's up,
Yeah.
bro.
So I get there, I land at night, and right before practice started, so they take me to the gym right as practice was starting. They tell me to just relax for the day, sit and watch. I'm like, all right, cool. So I watch practice, come back my second day, and we have a friendly scrimmage against the top team. So we scrimmage. They put me in probably like halfway through the first quarter. I'm wilding for
Mm.
the rest of the time I'm in there, and I probably ended up playing like 18 minutes, 19 minutes. I had like 16. So I'm like, this is as expected, light, like as I thought it was. Middle East basketball is just a little bit different. Like it's not like Europe, especially when you're coming from playing at high levels in Europe. Like the Middle East is
Yeah,
just it's kind of like lifetime bump or YMCA bump. Like it's just like yeah. So had the scrimmage. I'm feeling good after that. I'm like, okay, this is gonna be cool. They're gonna let me rock out. We have the first game, and this is right before playoffs started. I was only out there supposed to be for 2 months. Like it was towards the end of the regular season, and playoffs was about to
mm,
start. So this is one of the last regular season games. It's my first game there. Unlike in Europe, like I told you, I was on teams where you're allowed 4, 5, 6 Americans. Iraq, I don't know if it's the same for all the leagues in the Middle East or most of them, but I know in Iraq, on the team you're only allowed 3 Americans, but you're only allowed 2 on the court at the same time. So one of them,
mm-hmm,
if you got 3, one got to be on the bench. You can only play 2 at a time. So we
mm-hmm,
go into my first game there, and I'm the new American. I'm the third one. So the 2 Americans that was there and the rest of the team, that's who coach decides. He said, I guess he decided to play them. He played the 2 Americans the whole game until for the first 38 and a half minutes, 37 and a half minutes. He put me in. So basically, it was our big man. Our big man, he ended up fouling out in the last 2.5 minutes. So
mm.
now I guess I can get in the game because I'm the second American now. So so I'm on the bench for 37 and a half minutes. He put me in the last 2.5 minutes and then I get cut the next day. So once again, I'm like, y'all
God, bro.
allowed 3 Americans. You're only allowed to play 2. Y'all bring me here to play me for the last 2 minutes? Like, what was the point? Y'all could have left me at home.
What's the point?
What was the point to play me for 2 minutes? So then that was that. And then so that was my fourth spot of the season. So basically in my comeback season, I played for 4 teams in 4 months. So at this point, my mind is just like I'm all messed up. Like I'm
Probably in
just
shambles.
man,
Yeah.
what? And then yeah, coming back Mexico this season, I was out there for a month and a half. So I
When
went
you at
from in
you at
Leon.
Lyon, at Bejas,
Yep.
shout out to my guys at MVP, man. Y'all know who y'all are. Yeah.
Shit, Kamau out there right now. My guy.
Yeah, yeah, Cam and Dorados. He was in the same club that I was at.
Yep. I actually played.
But
He
with
was in Hungary with me.
who?
He was on a He was on a different team, but he was in Hungary the same year I was there.
Mm. Mm.
So
How far away? How far away was y'all from each other? Like in the city?
in Hungary or in Mexico?
Yeah, in Hungary.
In Hungary, Corman was I want to say about like 2.5 hours.
Did y'all ever link up or no?
We used to link up all the time in Budapest. Yeah,
Lit.
like whenever. Yeah, we used to link up all the time out there. So basically, Mexico was just so messy. It went from like I signed the deal. Me and my agent, we didn't know when I was going to be flying there. They ended up sending me my flight. My flight was on July 9th. So I'm like, once they told me my flight, I'm like, I hit my agent. I'm like, all right, so they got me my flight. I'm getting there July 9th. I'm like, so when is the first game? And he was like, I'm not sure, but I would assume it's, in the July 20 something. Like they'll probably have training camp a couple weeks and then y'all get into playing. So I'm like, all right, bet
Yeah.
I could do that. Get there, get comfortable. So I get there, me and my two other American teammates. We get there and like I said, July 9th, we get there, practice, and then they tell us, yeah, we're heading to San Luis tomorrow. We play July 11th. So, so me and my American homies, we was like, all right, bet, like this is cool. We got, we just got here. We got a little friendly game in 2 days, little scrimmage type joint. And they're like, no, 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 like the season starts July 11th. Like that's your first game. And we're like, wait, what? Like we just got here 2 days ago. We ain't even practiced together yet. Like what's going on?
Dog,
So anyway,
bro.
crazy. So we get to San Luis, we play, and in Mexico, everything is back to back. Like you'll play Thursday, Friday, or Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, Monday, whatever it
Yep.
is. You're gonna play back to back. So we get to San Luis first series, and I got MVP of the first series. So I'm thinking once again, like, okay, yeah, this is gonna be cool. This is sweet. Mexico is not as high level in Europe, so I'm gonna be able to have my way out here. Like this is like I would do in Europe. But so I
Hmm.
got MVP first series, and I went from that to by two series later, I'm barely playing most games. Like
Who was the guard in front of you? Because you said that I know they have 8 imports this year, right?
so when I first got there, it was just me and three other imports. But by the time I left, there was like three new ones, four new ones. Yeah, we ended up with eight imports for sure. But when I
Interesting.
yeah, that was a whole I don't know what's going on over there. Mind you, and we was losing. So it's not like y'all sitting me and it's working. And I had just
Oh,
won MVP the first series. Yeah, at this point, I'm like, what are we doing? Like we're in last place. We're 2-14. I'm not
yeah,
playing, and this is Mexico. Like this ain't Europe. Like what are we doing?
yeah,
Ended up talking to
yeah.
the coach one day in practice, and I'm like, I go up to him like positive attitude, mindset. Like I just ask him a question. I'm like, yo, like what's going on? Why like all of a sudden I'm not playing? Like y'all brought me here. I got MVP of the first series, had a good series, and then I go from that like to not really playing. Like what's going on? What did I do something or like what is it? And his response was, "No, you ain't doing anything. That's just my decision." So at that point, I'm just like, "Shit, all right. I mean, I can't do yeah, literally." He's like, "You ain't do nothing. That's just my decision." So
I
I
wonder
just
who
roll with
that
the punches. Huh?
I gotta look up. I gotta look up and see who that coach is over there. I wonder if he coached there the previous years I was there. Because that's a wild thing to say, bro.
Yeah, that's what he told me. He's like, "Nah, you
Not
ain't
even,
do nothing." That's
not even trying to give you like a. He gave you one chance, but that's it. But not even giving you like solid chances, bro. Like y'all 2-14, bro. You gotta, as a coach, you gotta make a change. You gotta make a change. You have
something
to. But leave it up to those local coaches, man. They'll stick to their egos before they
for
try to
sure,
solid change. You know,
for
so
sure.
crazy, bro.
But
That's
yeah, that was my fifth stop since coming back. So 5 stops in 5 months of actually playing. But now I'm like, at this point, I'm low key like, I ain't gonna lie, I was kind of happy to get up out of that situation because that just made no sense. Like I'm in Mexico on the worst team not playing like that. No, Absolutely not. So that was the first stop that I've had since coming back where I was like almost ready to go. Like everywhere else, I was kind of blown when I got let go. But like there, I was kind of ready. Like I'm like, yo, this is not it. And
It's a-
on top of that, not just because of the basketball wise, like I told you, when I came back last year, like I still wasn't really ready yet physically. Like I kind of if you let my dad tell it, he'll tell you I came back too early. But like I said, I was at a point where I'm like, if I continue to wait more months, like I might as it's over. So like I got to come back where I'm at and let the chips
yeah,
fall where they may. But the difference was this year, like why I'm also not too mad about it not working out in Mexico is because like I feel like now I'm at a point where I am ready, like physically, for the first
yeah,
time since coming back. I wasn't when I came back last year and even last summer, like I wasn't where I am now. I feel like now I'm at the point where I can get by anybody. I'm even when I was in Mexico, I'm guarding the ball 94 feet, like and hawking, like I'm strapping, and like I wasn't capable of doing this last year. So
yeah,
I'm like, now that my body is finally, I went crazy this off season though. Like I was man, I was working. Like I once again this off season was one of those I didn't really play much basketball. Like I was just working on my body because I knew last season a lot of the stuff I was dealing with was because I wasn't quite ready yet. And I would hear that like two out of the three teams in Europe that let me go, that was their thing. They was like, man, we signed you off of like we saw your resume and we saw your videos and like we just don't feel like you are what you were. Like we don't feel like you're quite there yet like,
mm,
physically. Like you're not the same. That's what it was. They was like, we don't feel like you're the same. And like I told you, in my mind, I knew I wasn't the same. Like I knew I wasn't quite ready yet. But that's what I was saying. Where like I feel like now I was kind of happy to for the Mexico thing not to work out because I feel like now I am ready, and I feel like because of that, I want to be able to go somewhere where they're gonna let me be me again. Like
yeah,
just give me the ball and let me work because I feel like
mhm,
now I'm at a point where that's what I'm ready for, and it's when that happens, it's gonna work
yeah. So
for sure.
are you open to playing in Europe, going back to South America? You want to tap Asia? How you feel? It don't matter at this point, or you just want to hoop,
Um,
or do you have a preference?
to be honest, right now it don't matter. I just want to hoop. But remember how a few minutes ago I told you like I was ready to get out of Europe and just go get the bag in the Middle East or whatever. But like
Yeah,
now I'm at a point where I'm so confident in like where I'm at and I'm so confident in my body that like I'm not forcing Europe, like I'll go anywhere, but I definitely won't like I would prefer to go back to Europe because I feel like the trajectory I was on and my resume there, if I am put in a situation where they let me do what I do, like the situations I was in prior to the accident, I
yeah,
feel like I only need one chance. Like I only need one shot to show that I'm back, that I'm me again, and then I'll pick up where I left off. And why I'm not so just like, let's go to the Middle East, let's go to South America and run it up. But like I low key I wouldn't mind giving Europe another chance just because like I said, I feel now that I'm at a point where I can be me again. And I know if I can be me again in Europe, then the sky's the limit. Not only for Europe, but that's going to open up other things everywhere.
yeah,
So I feel like now I'm more interested again in Europe just because I feel physically I'm at where I need to be me in Europe.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
But to answer your question, no, I'll go anywhere for sure.
yeah.
But yeah,
No, I feel you, man. I respect that. Europe is definitely a place to be, just because of I would say the competition and
yeah,
also
it's the
just
highest
the
level.
culture and the lifestyle. Like
Sure.
if you're in a place in Germany, it's nothing to be, a couple hours away from Belgium. You got
Yeah,
Netherlands, you got France, you got all these other places. But I mean, one step at a time, right?
no, for sure.
I love the fact that, like you said, man, you throughout everything, bro, you've persevered. You persevered.
Definitely.
You've gotten let go of jobs in unfortunate situations, but at least you know that you can hang your hat on. It's not because like you're trash or something that you
Yeah,
just couldn't hang, like you couldn't keep up type shit. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like the only reason that you were let go was because you and your father know you just weren't ready, and that's not a
Yeah,
bad
for
thing.
sure. Yeah,
A bad thing at all, bro. Like it's okay to admit that you know. And so moving forward, I'm glad that your mind and body is connected now to the point to
yeah.
where like you so you essentially you feel like 100%. Like you not worried about nothing. You're not thinking about nothing too much.
Nah, I'm 100% as far as like I'm not like you said, I'm not worried about nothing, I'm not thinking about nothing. I don't play like as timidly as I probably did when I came back, like trying to avoid contact or avoid getting hit by a screen or, shit like that. 100%, when you say 100%, I look at 100% as like I'm back to having I had a 44-inch vertical. I'm back to having a 44-inch vertical. I'm back to being able to punch on somebody if I want to. I'm 100% as far as like I'm healthy.
Yeah,
As far as basketball wise, yeah. I'm
yeah.
still able to do everything I was able
But
to do before.
even when it comes to like that athleticism, like jumping for that matter, right? Like obviously wear and tear on your body comes with basketball, and you getting
Exactly.
older. You getting
So
older.
that was gonna leave anyway at some point.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that don't even matter, bro.
Yeah.
As long as you like you say you feel mentally good, you know, physically you can get over those screens. If a big seven
Hmm.
footer try to hit you, you know, you can play defense 94 feet because that's what
Yeah.
the scouts and that's what these teams and GMs they want to see. They want to see you
Exactly.
back to your bag, man. But yeah, bro, I'm so happy that we were able to have this conversation, um, because your story I feel like will impact millions.
Yeah.
It's just about you know the basketball. It's not about the basketball, bro. It's about this is how life is. This is legit life. We're just figuring out I think our life is just going through basketball, you know. But a lot
Yeah.
of people that don't hoop, I mean, they go through the same things. They go through the same things. We're just blessed to do something that we love, and I'm just overall just happy that your heart and your love is still in the game because I mean,
Sure.
as we if hundreds of people probably been in that situation, and you know they probably would have folded, man. So
Definitely.
thank you.
I've had teammates last year. I had teammates when I was over there. It's like, man, like I ain't gonna lie, if that happened to me, I would have hung it up. I'm just like, nah, no sir. No
Hey,
sir.
at least they're honest with you too, bro. Because I mean,
Facts.
even for me, bro, like I said, with the I'm dealing. I had a neck injury. I got C4, 5, and 6 herniated discs in my neck,
Yeah.
and shot all the way down to like my right arm. It happened when I was in Israel, and so for a while there, I'm legit only playing with my left arm. Like
Yeah.
sometimes even now, I can't even really like catch with my right arm.
Yeah.
But I'm putting this on a podcast, but whatever, I don't care. You know what I'm saying? It's the truth of the matter. You know,
Yeah.
that's the criteria that we go through. But man, we love this shit, bro. Like legit.
Facts.
And that's no minor injury is not gonna or even major injury, obviously, is gonna take us away from that, especially when we wanna walk out on this basketball world on our terms.
On our terms, that's my biggest thing, as I told you.
Yeah. And
Yep.
that's why I cried, bro, because it's I mean, when I heard that, I'm like, yes, bro, that is it. Your choice, your decision, you know, to overcome and persevere. So thank you, brother.
Yep.
I appreciate it. And then so yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and now that we're done with that, I can go ahead and ask you just a few questions, if that's
Yep.
okay. And okay,
Yeah.
okay, so who are your favorite two players that you emulate in the NBA or overseas?
Ooh. Can I do one of each? One NBA, one overseas?
That's perfect, yeah.
All right. So overseas, I see a lot of similarities in me and Mike James. And especially
Ah,
like because I feel like he takes a lot of rhythm like he's a get into my rhythm off the bounce type of shooting guy. Like he not just strictly catch and shoot, like he create his own. And I feel like that's my type of style. In the league, that's a good question. In the league, I don't know. I haven't thought about that one. That's a good question. In the
well,
league right now.
See, and I haven't really kept up with the league right now, so
Me
I
neither.
don't
That's the
necessarily.
thing.
Yeah. So then, okay. So then, you watching nothing but Euro League basketball? Do you feel like?
I watch a lot of Euro League, Euro Cup. Yeah, that's I watch a lot more of that than I do NBA, especially because during the season I usually be overseas anyway, and it's easier to watch
Okay.
that with the time differences and shit. So yeah,
So so then, give me one more guard then. One more guard
one
overseas
more
that you.
guard in Europe or overseas period. I would say you know Eugene German.
Eugene German. Mm-mm. No. Who's he playing
Um,
for?
oh, I don't know where he's. I think he probably signed again in China. He been in China for the past 3 years, but before that he was in Turkey, Greece. But he's just like another scoring guard. He get to a bucket whenever he
Mm.
wants to. Tough shot maker. Yeah. I mean, I feel like I relate to a lot of the guards overseas. It's just like, just a pure bucket, tough shot taker and tough shot maker. Um, but also, know how to spread it, get their teammates involved, get people easy shots, just make the game fun for everybody. Play up and down. That type of style of basketball. I feel like, like the
No,
Mike James type. I feel like that's
you
my
know,
lane.
yeah, what's funny? I was just gonna ask you, what do you think style of play is? If you were a 2K player, what would your build be?
Ooh, my build would be dynamic score.
Yeah,
Dynamic
three level.
score. But yeah, 3 level score for sure. All day, 3 level score. But I
Like
feel like
I
I'm
was gonna say,
equally like, huh?
like a 3 level scoring playmaker type.
I was about to say, but I'm equally like I be like I said, I don't know too many point guards in Europe that can average 23 and 7 assists with it, especially in Europe. Like
Yeah,
you usually doing one or the other, but I feel like I'd be yeah, I'm good at both. So
nice,
yeah.
nice. That's what's up. What are two hobbies that you do besides? Well, I don't consider basketball a hobby anymore. That's our job. But what are two hobbies
Yeah.
that you do overseas while you?
Um, Number one is cooking for sure. I love cooking, throwing down. Number one and number two. Shoot, I'll be on the game. I'll be on the Call of Duty, Warzone,
PS or Xbox?
PlayStation all day.
You want to
Yeah,
drop your PSN so people can whoever
we could
hears
def. What is my
it.
PSN? I think it's SFOG. It's SFOG underscore NAJ0. I think.
Nice. I
Yeah,
bet. When I get
I
my
ain't been
P4,
on it in a
I'm gonna
minute.
add you.
Yeah, facts. We could definitely run it up. Get some dubs in that duty.
So another question is, when when you do when you hit that wall overseas, and obviously you know about hitting walls mentally, but what is one thing that you do that reminds you of home, or like gets you like back on track?
For me, I wouldn't even say it's anything that reminds me of home. I would just say that like when I get down or I get off track, I just like to think about what is ahead. Like I'm one of those like I don't like to look, especially as of recently and just learning how to be where your feet are and just being like where you at right now. But when I do get there, I do like to look like ahead and realize like yo, if you do this, like this is what what you can get out of it. This is where you can go. You've already had a taste of that. You didn't almost made it, but if life didn't happen the way it did, but it's not hard for you to get back there. And you know what I'm saying? I just like to look at, sometimes you just gotta bite the bullet and you gotta bite down and try to kick the door down. That's all I be
Yeah.
trying to focus on.
No, I feel you. I got a couple things written on my mirror every morning, like when I brush my teeth, bro. And I think that's a great thing that I did. I had to do it in Argentina, me and my wife, because that was a really, really tough time. But
Yeah.
yeah, I got my three main goals that I want for the season written on my mirror, and then I also, just like what you said, I have in quotes, "Be where your feet are." Everything everything is coming at you one day at a time. or something
Hmm.
like that. Be where your feet are. Dot dot dot. Everything that you pray for is coming to you one day at a time.
Yeah, that's
So
it.
for me, like I said, I just focus on that day. So that's what's up,
Absolutely.
bro. That's what's up. What do you? I would ask you, what are your two favorite foods? But it seems to me that you said you cook a lot overseas. Do
Yeah.
you have what favorite dishes that you cook, preferably, or what?
Man, I be mixing it up. I be going in all different type. My favorite thing to cook, that would probably be my just the classic soul food dinner. Fried chicken, baked mac and cheese, yams. That's my
No
go-to.
way
But
you cook that during the season, bro.
what? Well, I
You
ain't gonna
cooking
lie.
all that?
When I was in Latvia, made that probably like 3 times. I made because my I had an American teammate. He was my neighbor, but he don't really cook like that. And he wanted we both wanted like a taste of home around the holidays. So I made that for Thanksgiving. I made it for Christmas.
Yeah, yeah,
And no, yeah, I be definitely doing that. I mean, it'd be hard when you over there because you still got your schedule and stuff. So I ain't gonna lie. Both times that I did make that in Europe, I was up till like 11:30 midnight before we started eating, just because like, you got practice, you got to come home, shower, you got to grocery shop, you got to prepare everything. This should be taking a minute. So like, yeah,
yeah,
I don't do that too much when I'm over there, just because like I don't got all day to just be cooking because I got practice and sometimes twice and all that. So when I do
yeah,
do those meals, I'm prepared to be up damn near
yeah.
all night. Yeah.
Uh, that's what's up. So basically, your
Yeah.
meals are when you're cooking, they're a little bit basic. Like you'll get the chicken and rice, or beef and
Mm,
rice, or what?
I don't even. I'll be a little more in depth in that. I'm a foodie. Like I gotta have great eats. Like I don't really just like eating just to say I'm full and I ate. Like I like really good food. So I still, even when it's not like that type of meal, I still be like, it'll be like I'll make like a stir fry or something, or um stuffed chicken or some salmon. Like I don't really do
Okay,
just like the super basic chicken and rice. Like when I cook, it's usually like it's something that's gonna be fire usually.
something that you got on Pinterest, a recipe that you got on Pinterest or something. That's
Stuff
what I'll
stuff
be.
like that. Stuff I'll be seeing on Instagram. I follow like a lot of cooking pages and like chefs and stuff I'll be seeing on Instagram. Anything that might strike my eye or something, I'll remember it and then make something like that. Or I also got like several things that's just frequents that I make maybe once a week or every other week or so, and I stick to those two. So I'll be trying to
Yeah,
mix it up for sure. Yeah.
I'm gonna send you a picture of what wifey cooked one day when we were at Turkey. She had the fried chicken. She either had the fried chicken or the chicken fried steak, one of those. But baked mac and cheese, sweet potatoes, sweet potato,
Mhm.
like all that, bro, all that.
Already
But
knowing. I
that's
ain't
that's
tried the
what's up.
fried chicken fried steak. I might have to dive into that. I ain't never made that.
Oh, she's done. She's pounded that chicken down, pop, pop, pop. She
Yeah.
did all
With the
that,
little
man.
gravy.
hmm
Yeah, I might have to try that one.
Uh, so you did that. Any role models or OGs you want to shout out that helped you throughout your career along the way? People that molded you
Um,
for now, parents.
of course, definitely my parents. I would say, um, number two, my oldest brother. Like he's one of the wisest people I've ever spoken to, and just he be definitely keeping me level headed. I'm sure you remember my older brother, the oldest one, the one that's been locked up since before we even met. So yeah, he definitely plays a major role in just like he just sees, probably from being in there for so long. He just sees life from a different lens. Like he's one of the smartest people I ever had the luxury of talking to, being around anything, and like he definitely keeps my head on right for sure. Sometimes when I be having them days, like I just gotta talk to him, and he just he be taking the load off. Pause. But so yeah, I would say my parents, my brother. In the basketball world, Coach Frazier, that's my guy. Me and Frazier talk all the time. He's one of shoot, Frazier's probably my only college coach that I still talk to like as frequently as I do. Me and him got a great relationship. Like I think he's one of those relationships that I have from college that I'll have coaching wise that I'll probably have forever. Like me and Coach Frazier, that's my guy. He check in on him and the family, and that type of stuff. So yeah, I would say family wise, my parents, my brother, and then OG's basketball wise, Coach Frazier definitely he
Shout out
holds
to
that
Fred.
space for me. Yeah,
Yeah, he was definitely one of them, man. Cause
yeah, for sure.
fresh out of overseas Germany, coming into a coaching job, trying
Mm-hmm.
to make it work, trying to fit in. His hustle, his ambition, his hunger.
For
He was still
sure.
hooping with us. You know what I'm saying?
All the
So
time.
I always respected that, and that's one of the main things why he don't know this, and hopefully that he'll hear it. But these are one of the main things why I stay in shape, because even I'm not going to retire right now, but when I do retire, I still want to be able to hoop with my guys and be able to show them that in these 1-on-ones, I still got it. You know what I'm
And
saying?
sweet.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
not
Definitely.
sweet at all. And I remember
Definitely.
Frazier. You remember Frazier
Yep.
full court 1-on-1.
We'll put one
So
on one. Yep.
I like it, bro, and the fact that he still reaches out to you. I think he reaches out to me as well every now and then through IG comments or
Mm-hmm.
story comments or anything. But he's definitely a real one, man. He's definitely a
Not
real
for
one.
sure. 100%.
That's what's up,
Yeah, that's
man.
the guy.
And there you have. Thank you, Nigel, for sharing your story, man. I really really appreciate you taking your time yet again to talk to me.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
Bet. Stay blessed, brother.
Yes, sir. You do the same.
And there you have it, Nigel Johnson's story, exclusively told on 4Pros podcast. And I hope you got some good takeaways from what he had to explain in his story and on his journey. Like I said, a lot of ups and downs, a lot of trials and tribulations, but nonetheless, he's persevered. He's still fighting, he's still living, and he's still breathing. That's the most important thing. If you would like to keep up with Nigel and his story and his life, I will share his Instagram below. His Instagram link will be in the description box. Also, if you would like to listen to anybody else's stories, please feel free to reach out to me via Instagram at 4pros underscore. Real simple. Any names, anybody that you want to listen to, I will be more than happy to interview them and to catch their story. For those of you that are listening on YouTube, I would ask if it's in your heart to please like, share, and subscribe. We really want to get these videos out there so that people can understand the day in the life of how overseas basketball is. It's not easy. It is tough. It's not usual how things are done around here. So we just want to get those stories out as much as possible. For those of you that have listened on all podcast platforms, I appreciate you taking the time to tune in and listen. If it's in your heart, could you please leave a review? Anything helps. We appreciate it, and may the Most High continue to bless you and your family. Thank you for listening, and we appreciate it. Remember, episodes come out every 2 weeks. We have a new one coming up, so stay tuned.